She yelled like she owned the street. I remember thinking, yeah, this is gonna get ugly fast. Red hat, white fists, a voice that cracked the air. Her wine glass tilted mid-scream, a drop hit his boot. Terrence didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't blink. He sat still on that blue Audette, arms crossed, eyes locked. Behind her, the party froze. Plastic forks, flag-themed tablecloths, cops by the fence watching. No one stepped in, and her friends? They laughed, then looked, then went quiet. One woman turned away. That was new. He saw that. He saw everything. And he was counting. Terrence Blake kept quiet not because he was unsure, but because he'd seen this type before, seen the clipboard, heard the tone, watched how they said neighborhood safety like it meant ownership. This wasn't new, not to him. He'd grown up around people who smiled while they erased you, who moved the fence an inch every month until you forgot where your yard began. He'd learned young, yelling doesn't work, paperwork does. That cabin wasn't just a weekend thing. It was the last thing his mother left in her name. She bought it cash, in '97, back when folks still shook hands and meant it. She painted the mailbox herself, sky blue with little daisies, still there, faded now. Every summer, she'd sit on the porch, lemonade in one hand, journal in the other. That was her peace, her space. She passed 3 winters ago, but the place still smelled like her perfume when it rained. That's why he came back, not for escape, not for nature, to keep it hers. And when he pulled up that morning, earlier than planned, and saw balloons, grills, flags, and a woman he'd never met standing on the porch like it was hers, he didn't knock, didn't yell. He parked the bike, turned the key, took a photo, then waited. Because the fight hadn't started yet. It wasn't until she screamed that he became a problem. Her scream made everyone turn. That was the real start. And while she talked, about rules, about neighborhood codes, about how he didn't belong, his eyes dropped for a second to the handlebar, where she'd once taped a yellow citation, unregistered vehicle, warning issued. Still a faint outline from the tape, still sticky. His thumb pressed on it, not hard, just enough. Enough to remember. And resting on the dashboard, tucked near the ignition, was a small wooden frame. Old photo. His mother, 1999, standing in front of the same cabin, hand on hip, middle of a laugh. That's the version of her he carried. That's the line they crossed. And Terrence, he wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting so no one ever tried this again. She didn't knock. She didn't ask. She just taped a notice to his own gate. One strip of blue tape, one printed form, one signature line, blank. The wind caught the corner. It flapped once, then stuck still. Terrence didn't move. He'd seen that notice before. Template from the HOA handbook, page 12, unauthorized occupancy reporting protocol. But this one, it was pre-filled. It used his plate number. And under complainant, just 2 words in slanted red pen. Linda K. No title, no contact. He stepped off the bike, quiet, 1 foot at a time, read the form, top line, non-resident presence reported. Action required, he smiled. The kind of smile you save. The kind that says, I'm not mad you tried. I'm mad you thought it'd work. The grammar was off, the stamp was wrong. The HOA doesn't send first warnings on weekends, and they damn sure don't tape anything to gates. Not without a hearing, not without due process. She knew that. Everyone on the HOA board did, but Linda didn't play by rules. She rewrote them in real time, and today, she had a crowd. Behind her, the grill sizzled. Kids ran with sparklers. A man in golf shorts laughed too loud. It was all part of the script. A normal Saturday, wrapped in flags and folding chairs. Just festive enough to make Terrence the odd one out. She looked over her shoulder once, not at him, at her audience. Then she walked back to her table, hips squared like a sheriff's. But someone saw too much. Lindsay. She was younger, maybe mid-30s. Friend of a friend. Sat at the edge of the table, one wine glass in hand, half raised. She watched Linda tape the gate, watched her speak too fast. And when Linda sat down, Lindsay didn't toast, didn't laugh, didn't eat. She looked at Terrence, just long enough, just unsure enough. Terrence saw her, didn't nod, didn't thank her, just raised his phone, clicked. 3 angles, back pocket, done. The tape fluttered again. He left it there, like bait. Sometimes all it takes is a fake notice to show who thinks they run the street. We've all had a moment where silence was mistaken for weakness. If stories like this speak to you, calm, sharp, and deliberate, subscribe now and stay close. He didn't move the bike, he moved the camera. Terrence knew better than to argue. He knew better than to warn. Warnings only made people careful, so he adjusted the rearview mirror, just enough to catch the front lawn. The GoPro went under the fence rail. Not hidden, not obvious, just placed. That same afternoon, Karen printed another notice. This time, bolder font, bigger tape. She handed one to the officer, one to a neighbor, and one directly into Terrence's hand. He looked at it, didn't read, folded it once, slipped it into his jacket. She called it HOA policy clarification. He called it Exhibit A. At 4:38 p.m., her voice rose above the music again. He doesn't belong here, and I can prove it. 5 heads turned. 2 phones came out. She didn't flinch. He did one thing that night. Sent a single email. No caps, no complaint. Just time, location, 3 witness names, and a file labeled Footage 27C. No signature, no statement, just the facts. The officer received it. So did the county rep. So did the lawyer Terrence never mentioned to anyone. Next morning, he didn't join the HOA meeting, but the meeting changed anyway. Karen leaned in, finger on the map. Said it loud. "I don't need a warrant. I'm the president here." Silence. One man, George, ex-city zoning, leaned back and exhaled. "That's not how it works," he said. No one argued. That night, the sign came down. The one that screamed, "Private property, members only." Gone. By sunrise, a new one stood in its place. HOA, under federal review. Signage restricted. No one saw who changed it. No one asked. But Lindsay did something new that morning. She didn't wave, she didn't smile. She stood on her porch, arms folded, watching Terrence pull in, slow. She wasn't ready to speak, but she'd stopped clapping for the other side. And Terrence, he didn't wave back, didn't nod, he just parked, unzipped his jacket, pulled out the notice, and pressed it flat, right there on his dashboard, for everyone to see. She barked louder, he opened a folder. Karen didn't see the line, so she crossed it. Subject, immediate action. Required, unregistered person, loitering near lot. 27C, that's what she sent, to everyone. Full caps, no filters. She even printed it, handed a copy to the community officer, added a highlight, immediate removal suggested. Her voice rang through the cul-de-sac. "He doesn't even live here." People turned, forks paused midair. Then a soft sound, mechanical, a speaker, from his bike, click, static. Then, "This cabin was gifted by my grandfather in 1996. We're just repainting it. HOA's not involved." His grandfather's voice, warm, unmistakable, dated 6 months prior, sent to Karen herself. Silence. Even the wind stopped. Terrence didn't look at her, didn't look at the crowd. He just tapped his phone, an email sent. 1 line at a time, attached, deed registered under Marcus T. Cole. Parcel, 27C. Confirmed by county on April 12th. Recorded footage enclosed. Ms. Kepler is making legal decisions on unowned property. Should I escalate to state level HOA oversight? No anger, no warning, just a gentle, should I? Lindsay froze near the cooler, her hand hovering over a beer. She remembered that name. Marcus Cole, Terrence's grandfather. She'd seen that man fix the cabin roof in a storm. She'd eaten peach cobbler on that same porch. Karen never mentioned that. And then came the detail no one saw coming. Terrence had CC'd 3 people. A reporter from the Lake Mirror Journal. A former HOA board member, quiet, recently retired. Lindsay. Her inbox pinged, her hands shook. He wasn't threatening, he was documenting, and she was now in the thread. Karen kept talking, still commanding, still loud. but her words didn't land the same. They bounced off still faces, off questions unsaid. Someone whispered, "Wait, is she even allowed to do that?" Another, "Did she really get the deed wrong?" The cracks started small. And Lindsay? She wasn't looking at Karen anymore. She was staring at Terrence's hand, resting on his bike key. That same keychain from high school. She blinked. That was memory. That was proof. And in that quiet second, she knew. Karen wasn't enforcing order. She was building fiction. And the whole neighborhood was waking up inside it. She brought the whole neighborhood. He brought one screenshot. Karen called for an emergency HOA meeting. Sunday, 3 p.m., community hall, flag at full mast, the chairs filled, plastic, white, stackable. Neighbors sat shoulder to shoulder, coolers still at the back from the party. No one laughed this time. Karen walked in like she ran the county. She cleared her throat. "We're here today because Mr. Blake has chosen to ignore protocol. He refuses to register his property under updated HOA compliance. He's disturbed the neighborhood multiple times." Terrence stood, didn't speak, didn't blink. Karen kept going. "We cannot let exceptions ruin order. If we vote now, with 70% agreement, the board can proceed with enforcement." Some nodded, some didn't move. She raised her hand to pass out the ballots, but a voice broke the rhythm. "Before you vote," Lindsay said, standing near the back, "I just have one question." Karen froze. Lindsay walked to the laptop, clicked open an old Zoom archive. "I think you all should see this." The room dimmed as the video played. Karen's voice from a meeting 8 months ago. "Lot 27C? Not ours. That one was grandfathered out years ago." Silence. The kind that thickens behind your ears. Terrence stepped forward, still no words. He walked to the window, pulled the curtain aside. Behind the glass, an old metal sign, slightly bent, weather-worn. "Exempt from HOA, filed 1997. A tiny sound as it tilted into view. Crash like metal, waking up. Karen's jaw tightened. Her grip on the clipboard snapped the plastic. "That's fake. That's not legal." A man coughed near the coffee urn. Detective Armando Reyes stood, plain jacket, quiet eyes. "Actually," he said, "I helped file that exemption with Marcus Cole." 1997. Karen turned, searching, for anyone. A glance, a nod, but all eyes avoided hers. One woman shifted her chair an inch back. Another man folded his arms, looked away. The room stayed quiet, but the air had changed. Everyone had seen the lie. No one had to say it. No vote was taken. No ballots needed counting. The clipboard slipped from her hand, hit the tile, flat, and no one bent down to pick it up. He didn't win. He just stayed. No headlines, no apologies, no farewell speeches from the board. Monday morning, the lake was still. Birds picked at crumbs near the long table. Someone had taken the balloons down. Terrence walked out before sunrise, not to pack, just to clean. He wiped the old wooden sign, slowly, corner to corner, then lifted it, gently, and screwed it back in place. Cole Residence, since 1997, the last screw resisted, rust along the thread, but it fit. Like it had been waiting. No one watched, except Lindsay, from across the lawn. She said nothing, only placed a glass of white wine, still half full, on the table Karen once stood behind. She walked away, left it there, like a quiet note. I'm not with her anymore. The cabin door creaked open. Terrence stepped inside. No ceremony, no music, just the sound of wood settling under memory. On the shelf by the window, a folded American flag now rested inside a glass frame. Not flying, not shouting, just kept the way it should be. Outside, the gate light blinked. The security cam was back on, its red dot steady, watching. He didn't look at it. He already knew. And somewhere, in a drawer, a clipboard sat untouched, no longer feared, no longer followed. The house was quiet again. He pulled the screen door shut, latched it, then stood still. For a second, 2. Not everyone fights to win. Some just want no one to touch what they've guarded too long. Some fights never make noise. Some wins never come with applause. The old screw didn't need replacing. It just needed someone patient enough to turn it right. The cabin wasn't big, but it remembered. The table still had scratches from July barbecues. The wind still carried pine needles onto the steps. Nothing had changed, but everything had shifted. Sometimes justice doesn't look like victory. It looks like a man sleeping in his own house without checking the locks twice. It looks like silence. That stays silent. People forgot the emails, the meetings, even the shouting. But they remembered who stayed and who didn't. The flag stayed in the glass. The gate light blinked steady. And no one dared tape another notice again. Because truth doesn't raise its voice. It just waits for the noise to wear itself out. Some things aren't about winning or losing. They're about lasting. And some people don't stand up to fight. They stay seated because they know the ground beneath them is already theirs.